Hi, I'm Andrew Wasson. Thanks for joining me for my weekly guitar blog. It's January 11th, 2015. This week we're going to be covering major and minor six chords. And this week's question was sent in from Bill. He's out in New Albany, Indiana, and he wrote in with this question. I wanted to know if you could show us your top suggestions of basic chord pattern shapes for the major and minor six chords. I have a chord app, but it gives 16 shapes for major sixth and 14 shapes for the minor sixth. There are so many versions in that app that I don't know which ones are the best to study and use. I hope you'll consider making a lesson on these chords. Thanks from Bill in New Albany, Indiana, USA. Well, thanks for writing in, Bill. I guess, the sixth chord is a fairly simple chord that's just built on the major or minor triad. All we do to construct them is take the basic triad structure of root, third, fifth intervals, and then on top of that, just add a major sixth interval as well. The result is going to either be a major sixth chord, which is simply a major triad with the addition of the major sixth interval, or we could take a minor triad and just add on that same major sixth interval, giving us the minor sixth chord. So for this lesson, I've chosen three of the most popular minor and major sixth chords, and I've created a couple of practice progressions to help you quickly work them into your guitar playing. So let's get started. Well, let's begin by running through three of what are probably the most popular major sixth chords. These three chord patterns for the major sixth chord quality are going to give us voicings built from off of our sixth, our fifth, and our fourth guitar strings. So let's begin with the major sixth chord pattern built off of the sixth string. It's kind of a unique one because every chord tone is in there. The root, the six, the three, and the five, they're all within the chord structure. That's rooted off of the seventh fret in the sixth position for that B major six. And of course, these are movable shapes, so you could move it down. This would be A major six, G major six. You just move those along the neck. Let's go to another couple of voicings here. These ones are going to change up a bit because these ones are going to drop the fifth chord tone. The first one I have for you is an E major six. It's rooted out off the fifth string at the seventh fret E there. And we're going across with a fingering of 4, 2, 3, 1. The chord tones are the root, major third, the major six, and an octave up on top there. Okay, so that's an E major six, and again, you can move these around. That's E, you could have F major six, you could have G major six, move those along the neck. And speaking of G major six, that's our next one we're going to use here for our fourth string root. This one also, once again, does not have a fifth chord tone in it. The voicing is the same arrangement of notes. We've got root, major third, major six, and then an octave on top there. That one in that position, third position there off the fourth string, that's going to be a G major six. But again, it's movable. You could drop it down to an F major six. You could go upwards here to an A major six, B major six, and so on. Completely movable. And next, what I'd like to do is put these major six chord patterns to work in a chord progression. Now, this chord progression I've created is going to apply all the chords as major sixth chord qualities, so they're all going to be major sixes. You're probably not going to see that very often in a typical progression out there, but this is a practice progression. It's just meant to get these shapes together. And, when you begin applying the major six in your, own songs and chord progressions and all that, you're going to feel kind of like maybe sometimes it doesn't fit, sometimes it does fit. You have to experiment because technically they can fit anywhere that you'd like. You just have to kind of watch the harmony that you're building off them, because sometimes you'll go out of key, you might be doing something a little bit modal with them or whatnot. But you have to keep in mind that they can reharmonize, they can get established into any chord progression out there. You could replace existing chords. If you had an A major triad, you could try replacing it with a major six. Even if you had a major seven chord, you could try replacing it with a major six. And just, test and operate, see how it works. If it sounds okay, then use it. If it doesn't, then, go with the original one, or, go with whatever fits the best, basically. So anyway, here's the chord progression that I got for you. It's going to go from B major six into the E major six. We're going to shoot over to that G major six, and we're just also going to drop down one half step off to that F sharp there. So we have a chord progression that sounds like this. All right, next let's move on into the minor tonality with some minor 6-chord voicings. Now these are probably three of the more popular minor 6-chord types out there. You may have seen some of these or maybe not, I don't know. But just like those major 6 shapes that we worked with, these ones also have their root notes situated off of the 6th string and the 5th and the 4th. All right, so let's get started with a minor 6-chord pattern with its root off of the 6th guitar string there. This is a C minor 6 in the 7th position. The voicing is setting itself up as having the root note, the major 6, and then the minor 3rd, creating the minor tonality. And then up on top, we've actually got a 5th chord tone there. So that's a C minor 6. And again, these are movable. You can move them around the neck. Bunch of minor 6 chords. Let's go to the 5th string and start here on the D. We're going to do a D minor 6, and the setup is very similar to actually the major 6 that we had off the 6th string previously in those other examples. So in this setup, what we have is the root of the chord, and then we have the major 6, and then the minor 3rd, and then up on top the 5th. And that sets itself up as a 4th position D minor 6. And again, you can move that around. Here's an E minor 6. Here's an F minor 6. G minor 6. You can just keep moving along the neck there. It's a totally movable shape. Just always know where your root is. Remember, in our voicings that we're doing, the root is always off the low string down there. Now let's go to the last one. It's going to be set up off A. It's going to be in the 7th position. This is an A minor 6. The chord tones are laid out as root, and then we have the perfect 5th. You can tell that kind of looks like a power chord, doesn't it? And then up on that, over top of that, we have a major 6 occurring on the 2nd string. And then on the upper string there, we have the minor 3rd occurring there. So that's giving it its color of minor. All right, and to help you get these minor 6-chord voicings well established into your guitar playing, I've composed a short practice progression applying those minor 6 chords across all the chords in each measure of the example progression. So again, you may not find a progression that is going to do this, but it does work well as a practicing tool. And also keep in mind that just like we discussed in the progression from the major 6 chords, these minor 6 chords can either be placed into a progression or swapped out anywhere that you'd normally find your typical, minor triad or even a minor 7 chord. You can just experiment with, if you like the sound of a 6 chord in there. Do you want to use a triad or do you want to use a 6? Just experiment and see, what you like the best. So anyway, here's how the minor 6 example practice progression sounds that I came up with. It's going to start off of this A minor 6 off the 4th string root, and then we're going to shoot over to a D minor 6 off 5th string root. Then we're going to head back down to the 6th guitar string and do C minor 6. And then we're going to drop down, actually chromatically, we'll have B minor 6, B flat. It's going to be kind of an interesting progression. Here's how it goes. Well, it almost goes without saying that chords are generally one of the most important areas to study for any musician of the harmony instruments out there, like the guitar and the piano, for instance. And the major and minor 6 chords that we just covered are very unique to us since they can be used pretty much anywhere a diatonic major or minor chord would be used. As long as we can get the 6 chord to operate smoothly, and as long as the chords in our progression flow with continuity, then any sixth chord that we apply into our songs should operate just fine. I don't have to remind you again of the old basic songwriting and arranging motto that states, if it sounds good, then it is good. Anyway, that's about all the time I have for today. As always, thanks for watching. Have yourself a great week, and I'll catch up with you next time. Bye for now. The Music Reading Phase 1 ebook has over 30 pages of comprehensive project lessons covering the entire fifth reading position on the guitar. Music reading charts and drills will work to help students memorize the placement of the fifth position notes, including important sharp and flat tones. Several original and classic pieces of sheet music will help students to gain a solid understanding for this region of the neck. Rhythm studies, duration examples, plus song and location drills along with 19 MP3 audio tracks makes this one of the best music reading courses available online. Music Reading Phase 1 is available for instant download in the View Our Products area at creativeguitarstudio.com.